The person who betrayed you occupies your mind more than anyone who has ever loved you. Right now, in this moment, they control your thoughts, determine your mood, disturb your sleep, poison your peace. Tell me, who won? You seek revenge, but they have already claimed the greatest victory. They live inside your head, rent-free, commanding your emotions like a tyrant. This is the wound far worse than the betrayal itself, and I am here to show you how to evict them completely. I see you. You have been wronged, and the world tells you that strength means striking back. Your friends encourage revenge. Your culture celebrates it. Every fiber in you cries out for satisfaction, but deep in a quiet place you sense the truth. Revenge will not heal you. It will chain you more tightly to the very person you wish to be free from. You are here because you know there must be another way, not a way that makes you weak. You are tired of being told to just forgive or let it go. No, what I offer you is far harder than revenge and far more powerful. I will show you how to win the only victory that matters: mastery over your own mind. While they remain enslaved to weakness, you will become untouchable. You will build an inner fortress no betrayal can breach. This is not about them anymore. This is about you refusing to become like them. Most teachings on betrayal encourage revenge, which makes you a slave to anger, or ask you to forgive and forget, which denies your pain. I offer a third way, the Stoic Way, tested through my own betrayals, through watching the powerful destroy each other, through my final moments when the emperor I served ordered my death. By the end of this teaching, you will understand how to transform betrayal from a wound that weakens into a test that strengthens. You will learn to regard your betrayer with neither hatred nor love, but with the calm indifference you reserve for a passing storm. And, most importantly, you will reclaim the one thing betrayal threatens to steal: your inner peace, your self-command, your unshakable serenity. This is not revenge. This is transcendence, and it is the victory they can never touch. Let me tell you a story. There was a man named Marcus Cato, of such reputation that his presence commanded respect. One day at the public baths, someone struck him. Not gently, a careless blow from someone who did not recognize him. In Rome, such an offense could not be ignored. A man of Cato's standing, struck by a commoner. His friends watched, waiting for righteous anger. The offender realized his mistake, his face pale, offering desperate apologies. And Cato said this: "I do not recall being struck. Not I forgive you. Not your apology is accepted. I do not recall being struck." He had not forgotten. He chose something far more powerful than revenge. He chose not to grant the injury any significance. He did not carry home the burden of offense. He simply continued his day as if nothing had touched him, because nothing had, not where it mattered, not in the fortress of his mind, where his virtue lived untouched. This is what it means to regard wrongs as beneath contempt. To appear unworthy of having vengeance exacted from you is the most insulting sort of vengeance. The great and notable person is the one who, like a great beast, listens without concern to small dogs yapping. But you say, "I am not Cato. I feel the burn of this injury." Of course you do. Let me tell you about betrayals closer to home. I have been betrayed by those I raised up, by friends I trusted. I advised an emperor, guided him, tried to check his worst impulses. When I became inconvenient, when my wealth excited his greed and my wisdom became a reproach, he ordered my death. The very student I had taught. Nero, I have felt what you feel. That hot surge of anger, sleepless nights, fantasies of revenge that seem justified. I tell you this because I understand your battle. but I learned something. The wound of betrayal is nothing compared to the wound we inflict on ourselves when we let it rule us. There was a time when I nursed resentments, turned over injuries in my mind like precious gems. I thought this was strength, but each night before sleep, I began examining myself. Not judging others, but examining where I had been petty, where passion ruled reason, where I granted significance to things beneath my concern. Slowly, I saw the pattern. The person I hurt most was myself. The betrayer had moved on, slept soundly, thought nothing of me, but I was torturing myself with their memory, handing them victory after victory. That is when I decided, no more. I would examine myself, not my enemies. Master my reactions, not control their actions. And in that decision, I found freedom greater than any revenge. You wonder if this makes you weak. Let me show you what true strength looks like. Alexander the Great, conqueror who destroyed the Persians, the Hyrcanians, the Indians. He extended his empire to the edges of the known world. Kings trembled at his name. Yet this man lay in darkness after killing a friend in drunken rage, grieving his own crime. The mightiest warrior of his age was felled not by an enemy's sword, but by his own anger. He endeavored to control everything except his passions. He had no mastery over himself. Despite all his conquests, all his glory, he was a slave to rage and impulse. Contrast this with Antigonus, a king with power to execute anyone who displeased him. One night he heard two soldiers leaning against his tent, cursing him for leading them onto a muddy trail. Nothing would have been easier than to order their execution, but what did he do? He went to them in darkness, unrecognized, and helped them get unstuck. Only when they were free did he speak. Now curse Antigonus, through whose fault you landed in this misery, but bless the man who got you out. This is strength. Not the strength to destroy, which any fool with power possesses, but the strength to endure insult without reacting, to help those who harm you, to remain in command of yourself. External power means nothing without internal mastery. Self-command is the greatest command of all. I knew a gladiator who complained about the scarcity of prizes. "What a fine time is past," he said. But he was eager for danger, eager to prove his valor. He understood that valor is tested in difficulty, not ease. We cannot know what we are capable of until we are tried. The soldier who returns wounded is more admired than the one unwounded, because something true has been revealed. Character has been tested and proven. This betrayal? It is your arena, your opportunity to prove virtue, not to seek revenge, but to show you cannot be moved by another's weakness, to demonstrate that your peace does not depend on their actions, but understand the nature of humans. If you do not understand this, every betrayal will shock you, and shock leads to anger. Human nature yields treacherous, ungrateful, impious minds. This is not cynicism. This is reality. When judging one person's character, think about the character of people in general. We are flawed creatures, operating from incomplete understanding and weakness. Where you feel greatest joy, there you will feel greatest fear. Where you think all is calm, sources of harm lie low. Reckon that there will always be something to offend you. How strange if bad deeds proceed from bad people. How novel if an enemy harms, a friend offends. We should expect these things, not to become paranoid, but to not be surprised. In not being surprised, we are not thrown off balance. The problem is not betrayal itself, but that we thought we should not be betrayed. We placed someone on a pedestal, and when they revealed human weakness, we took it personally. But they were always human, always capable of this. We chose not to see it. Expect injury. Expect betrayal. Not because everyone will betray you, but because anyone might. If you are prepared, the wound cannot sink as deep. Now that you understand this, now that you see betrayal as a natural possibility rather than an impossible offense, let me teach you what true victory means. Because everything depends on getting this right. If you misunderstand victory, you will chase the wrong goal and remain forever enslaved. External victory is what the world celebrates, destroying your enemy, making them pay, seeing them suffer, watching their fortunes crumble, getting public vindication, having everyone acknowledge that you were right and they were wrong. And all of this is worthless, completely worthless, because it depends entirely on things outside your control. It depends on fortune, on circumstance, on other people's opinions. It can be taken from you as easily as it was given. And even if you get it, even if you see your betrayer ruined, you will not be satisfied. You will be empty, because you built your peace on sand. Internal victory is different. It is permanent. It cannot be taken from you. It depends on nothing except your own mind, your own choices, your own character. This is what the Stoics mean by virtue. This is what I mean by self-mastery. True freedom is this: not being a slave to anything, not to compulsion, not to chance events, not to another person's actions, making fortune meet you on a level field. The day you find fortune's power is too much for you is the day that power is annulled, because death is always ready to hand, and before death you can always choose how you respond. But I am not asking you to die. I am asking you to live, truly live, as a free person. And the person who is free is the one who desires nothing beyond what depends on their own reason. Why do you want revenge? Look honestly at this desire. It is because you feel diminished. You feel that something was taken from you. Your dignity, your security, your sense of control. And you believe that by making them suffer, you will get these things back. But you will not. Because these things were never external in the first place. Your dignity resides in your character, which no one can touch. Your security resides in your virtue, which you alone control. Your sense of control resides in your reason, which is yours until your final breath. The betrayer cannot take any of these from you. You can only hand them over by choosing to be governed by anger, by choosing to make your peace dependent on their suffering. When you seek revenge, you say to them, "You have power over me." You say, "I cannot be at peace until you pay." And so they continue to rule you, even as you imagine you are fighting back. Self-mastery is the greatest command, far greater than commanding armies or nations, because the person who commands themselves cannot be moved by any external force. They stand like a fortress on a hill, and the storms of fortune break against them without effect. This is the victory I offer you, the victory over yourself, over your own passions, your own reactions, your own need for external validation. This is the only victory that matters. This is the only victory that lasts. Now let me show you how to see your enemy clearly, because if you see them through the lens of anger, you see them all wrong. You make them more powerful than they are. You make them the center of your world. And this is exactly backwards. Your betrayer is not powerful. They are enslaved to their own weakness. They could not help but betray you, because betrayal is what weak people do when their own interests or fears or desires become too strong for their character to resist. Think about what it means to be a betrayer. It means you cannot be trusted. It means you cannot trust yourself. It means you lie awake at night, if you have any conscience at all, remembering what you did. It means you must avoid certain people, certain places, certain conversations. It means you are always wondering if others know, if they are judging you, if you will be found out. The betrayer has already punished themselves. They carry their own prison with them everywhere. Wickedness drinks most of its own venom. This is not poetic metaphor. This is literal truth. The poison that damages others is nothing compared to the poison that remains in the vessel, choking the one who holds it. The ingrate torments himself. He plagues himself. He hates the favors he received because he knows he must repay them, and he knows he will not. He magnifies every injury done to him to justify his own betrayal. And what could be more wretched than having all benefits drop away and only injuries remain in your mind? Bad people have one pleasure: the brief moment of receiving their gain, achieving their goal, getting what they betrayed you to get. Then it is gone, and what remains is the constant awareness of their own corruption. But you, if you choose wisdom, you have steady and lasting joy. Not joy in receiving revenge, but joy in having mastered yourself. Joy in knowing that your character remains untouched. Joy in the constant recollection of your own virtue. The wise person thinks nothing of injuries. He forgets them, not out of carelessness but of his own volition. He does not make the worst out of everything. He does not go looking for someone to blame. He attributes to fortune the misdeeds of other people. Do you see what this means? The betrayer acted according to their nature, according to their weakness, according to the circumstances that shaped them, just as a storm acts according to atmospheric pressure, just as winter acts according to the tilt of the earth. You do not take winter personally. You do not plot revenge against the storm. This does not excuse them. It does not mean there should be no consequences. It does not mean you trust them again. It simply places them in proper context. They are not the demon you have made them in your mind. They are a flawed human who acted from weakness, nothing more, nothing less. And when you see them this way, the heat of anger begins to cool. They become less significant, not more. They shrink to their proper size, and you realize you have been fighting a shadow of your own creation, not the actual person at all. Now comes the most important teaching, the one that changes everything if you truly understand it. How to master the first movement of anger. Listen carefully. Anger consists not in being stirred by an impression, but in surrendering to that stirring, not in feeling the initial jolt, but in giving assent to it and following where it leads. When you learn that you have been betrayed, your body responds, your heart races, your face flushes, your jaw clenches. This is involuntary. This is the first movement. This is not anger yet. Anger begins when your mind says yes to this movement, when it says, this feeling is justified and I should act on it, when it moves from automatic response to deliberate pursuit of revenge. That is where anger is born. In the assent, in the choice to follow the initial impulse, this means something extraordinary. It means anger is a choice, not the first feeling, but everything that follows. And if it is a choice, it can be unchosen. Even the bravest person's knees tremble before battle. Even the greatest speaker's hands go cold before an important speech. These are involuntary movements of the body. They mean nothing about character. What matters is what you do after the trembling starts. The same with betrayal. The first jolt of pain, the initial shock and hurt. This is human. This is unavoidable. But what comes next is up to you. Do you nurse that hurt? Do you feed it with bitter thoughts? Do you rehearse the injury over and over? Do you build a case for revenge? Or do you catch yourself in that moment between the stimulus and your response? Do you see the anger rising and choose not to follow it? Do you feel the pull toward resentment and deliberately turn away? This is the practice. This is the work. Catching yourself in that space. It is small at first, that space. Perhaps only a second. But you can learn to extend it, to pause, to observe your own reaction without immediately identifying with it. I learned to do this. When I felt anger rising, I would lower my voice. I would speak less. My friends recognized this as a sign that I was struggling, and they would reprove me. They would say, "You are angry," and I would acknowledge it, not with shame, but with honesty. Yes, I am feeling this, but I am not acting on it. You can do the same. Disguise anger's signs. Keep it hidden, not because you are afraid of it, but because you are containing it while you decide what to do with it. Modify your expression, soften your voice, slow your step. Little by little, your inner state conforms to your outward appearance. This is not fakery. This is not pretending everything is fine. This is using your body to train your mind. Your mind follows your body more than you know. Stand like an angry person, and you will feel more angry. Stand like a calm person, and calm begins to seep in. But the deepest work happens in your thoughts. You must struggle with yourself. If you have the will to overcome anger, it cannot overcome you. But you must genuinely want to overcome it, not just suppress it. The difference is this. Suppression is holding back a force you still agree with. Overcoming is changing your relationship to that force entirely. When you feel anger at your betrayer, ask yourself these questions. Is this anger helping me or harming me? Is it bringing me closer to peace or further from it? Is it making me stronger or weaker? Is it making me free or enslaved? The answers are obvious. Anger harms you. It takes you further from peace. It weakens you. It enslaves you. And when you see this clearly, really see it, not just know it intellectually, the anger begins to lose its grip. Give your closest friends permission to reprove you. Tell them, when you see me obsessing over this betrayal, when you hear me rehearsing my grievances, stop me. Remind me of what I truly want, which is freedom, not revenge. Look for obstacles to put in the way of your known weaknesses. If you know you become most angry late at night, do not let your mind go there at night. Have a book ready, a practice ready, something to occupy you when the demons come. But here is something even more fundamental than managing your anger. Here is the practice that transforms everything if you will truly do it. Remember benefits and forget injuries. This goes against everything your mind wants to do. Your mind wants to remember every injury in perfect detail. It wants to forget any good the betrayer ever did. This is how it builds its case for why you should be angry, why revenge is justified. But this is poison. This is how you ensure that the betrayer continues to rule you forever. The wise person does the opposite. He dwells on earlier and better memories. He puts kind interpretation on whatever happens. When injury equals benefit, some goodwill remains in his mind. He is like a judge who, when the scales are balanced, credits the difference to benefits, taking into account that they came first, that time matters. Try this. Actually, try this. Think of the person who betrayed you. Now think of one good thing they did, one moment of kindness, one time they helped you, one conversation where they were genuinely present for you. Your mind will resist this. It will say, but that does not count because look what they did later. But this is exactly the trap. You are letting their worst moment define them entirely, and you are trapped in that moment with them. The practice is to hold both truths. Yes, they betrayed you. And yes, there was once good between you. You can acknowledge both. without excusing the betrayal. You acknowledge the good not for their sake, but for yours, because remembering only injury keeps you locked in bitterness. And if you cannot find a single good memory with this person, then practice gratitude toward someone else. Find 3 people who have shown you kindness. Recall specific moments. Feel the warmth of those memories. This is not distraction. This is training your mind to focus on what builds rather than what destroys. Gratitude dissolves resentment as light dissolves shadow. You cannot hold both fully in your mind at the same time. And gratitude is far more pleasant, far more productive, far more aligned with the life you actually want to live. But what if the injury was truly great? What if it cannot be minimized? What if there is no benefit to balance against it? Then I offer you the most radical teaching, the one that, if you truly grasp it, sets you free completely. You can choose not to be harmed. This sounds impossible. You are thinking, they did harm me. The harm is real. I lost money, reputation, security, friendship. How can you tell me I was not harmed? I am not denying what happened. I am telling you where the true harm lies. The betrayer can touch your possessions. They can touch your reputation. They can even touch your body, but they cannot touch your character. They cannot touch your virtue. They cannot touch the ruling center of your being unless you give them permission. The Stoics have a teaching: only virtue is good, only vice is bad. Everything else, everything external, is neither good nor bad in itself. It becomes good or bad based on how you use it, how you respond to it, how you let it affect your character. This is not word games. This is the key to freedom. Your possessions can be taken, but your character of generosity remains. Your reputation can be destroyed, but your character of integrity remains. Your security can be threatened, but your character of courage remains. What makes you unhappy is not what happened. It is your judgment about what happened. It is the story you tell yourself about what it means. You say, this betrayal proves I am unworthy of trust. This betrayal proves the world is unjust. This betrayal proves I must always be on guard, can never relax, must seek revenge to restore my dignity. But none of these things are true. The betrayal proves only that one person acted from weakness on one occasion. That is all. Everything else is your interpretation, and your interpretation is your choice. Marcus Cato did not recall being struck, not because he forgot, but because he refused to give the event significance. He chose not to be harmed by it. He chose to treat it as so far beneath his concern that it did not even merit acknowledgement. You can do the same. You can say, yes, they betrayed me. Yes, they revealed their weakness. Yes, I must adjust my relationship with them accordingly. But no, I am not harmed. No, my character remains intact. No, I do not grant them power over my peace. This is not pretending the betrayal did not happen. This is choosing what it means. And you get to choose. This is your freedom. This is your power. It is better to pretend not to notice a wrong than to take revenge. When more powerful people wrong us, we must bear it not just patiently but with a smile, because if they believe they succeeded in disturbing us, they will do it again. But if they see we are unmoved, they lose interest. The game is no fun when the opponent refuses to play. There was a man who grew old in the service of kings. This was rare, because courts are dangerous places where one mistake could mean death. When asked how he survived so long, he said, by accepting injuries and saying thank you. This sounds like weakness to most ears. But it is not weakness. It is the highest strategy. He understood that his survival, his peace, his effectiveness, all depended on not being controlled by every slight and insult. So, he chose not to be harmed by them. He treated them as if they were gifts. And in doing so, he remained free. The one who retaliates is not much different from the wrongdoer. The only difference is the order in which they cause pain. The retaliator is just more readily excused for doing wrong. But it is still wrong. It is still a surrender to passion. It is still a loss of self-command. Vengeance is a word unworthy of human beings, even though it is accepted as right. In the case of favors, it is honorable to repay one good turn with another. But in the case of wrongs, it is not honorable to repay wrongs with wrongs. In the case of favors, it is shameful to be outdone. In this case, it is the outdoing that is shameful. Do you want to be like them? Do you want to be the kind of person who harms others? Or do you want to be free? You cannot have both. You cannot seek revenge and also claim moral superiority. You cannot plot their downfall and also maintain your own peace. Choose, then. Choose. Now, do you want revenge, which will consume you and ultimately satisfy nothing? Or do you want freedom, which requires you to let go, but offers everything you truly want? And now we arrive at the summit. Now I show you what you are building toward, what all of this practice, all of this struggle, all of this effort creates: tranquility of mind. The Greeks call it eudaimonia. I call it the state where your mind remains the same, proceeds on its way undisturbed, is content with itself, looks with pleasure on its own condition, and does not interrupt this joy. A state where you are neither puffed up at any time nor depressed, where you remain tranquil, being neither affected by external events beyond your control. This is not numbness. This is not apathy. This is not caring about nothing. This is caring about the right things in the right way. It is caring about your character, which you control. It is caring about your responses, which you choose. It is caring about your virtue, which no one can take from you. When you have this tranquility, nothing can shake you. Nothing can make you stumble. You do everything under the guidance of your own will, and nothing unexpected befalls you in a way that disrupts your peace. Even the unexpected is expected because you know that unexpected things happen. Even betrayal is expected because you know that humans are capable of betrayal. But whatever happens, you meet it from a place of inner stability. You are like a fortress on a height that no siege can conquer, because everything you need is already inside. You do not depend on the approval of others. You do not depend on fair treatment. You do not depend on justice being served according to your timeline. You have yourself. You have your reason. You have your virtue. And this is enough. More than enough. This is everything. The highest good is singleness of mind, where agreement and unity exist within yourself, where all your parts work together toward virtue. There must true happiness be. The vices war with one another. The person who seeks both revenge and peace will have neither. But the person who seeks only virtue, only what is truly good, will have peace as a natural consequence. Such a mind, when it has ranged itself in order, made its various parts agree together, has attained the highest good. It has nothing evil or hazardous remaining, nothing to shake it or make it stumble. It does everything under the guidance of its own will, and nothing unexpected befalls it in a way that disrupts its harmony. Whatever such a mind does turns out well, readily and easily, without resorting to underhanded schemes. Slow and hesitating action are signs of discord and lack of settled purpose. But the person who has achieved this inner harmony moves with confidence, with grace, with certainty. This is what I offer you, not tricks to hurt your betrayer, not schemes to get revenge, not even strategies to avoid being betrayed again, though you will become wiser about whom to trust. I offer you the transformation of your entire inner life, the building of a fortress no one can breach, the achievement of a peace no circumstance can disturb. Is this easy? No. It is the hardest thing you will ever do. It is far harder than revenge. Revenge is easy, anger is easy, bitterness is easy. Any weak person can do these things. What I am asking of you requires strength beyond what most people ever achieve. But you can do it. You can do it starting today, starting now, with small practices that build over time into an unshakable way of being. Let me give you the specific steps, the daily practices that will move you from where you are now to where you want to be. Every evening before sleep, review your day. Where did I let another's action disturb my peace? Where did I grant significance to what should have none? Where did I nurse wounds when I should have forgotten? Do not judge yourself harshly. The point is to see clearly, to recognize the pattern, to understand how you give away your power. Then ask, where did I choose peace over reaction today? Write these things down. Track your progress. You will have setbacks, days when anger feels fresh. But if you keep this record, you will see these days become less frequent. Each morning, practice mental rehearsal. Expect injury. Visualize encountering rudeness, betrayal. See yourself responding with calm indifference, remembering that bad deeds proceed from bad people. This removes the power of the unexpected. When injury comes, you will recognize it and respond from preparation, not passion. When you think of your betrayer, practice reframing. When you think they wronged me, say instead, they revealed their character. When you think I must make them pay, say instead, they are already paying, enslaved to weakness. When you think how dare they, say instead, why would I not expect this from flawed humans? Write these reframes down. Speak them aloud when anger rises. At first, they will feel false, but keep practicing. The rational mind grows stronger, emotions grow calmer. Practice gratitude. Can you find one past benefit from them? Focus there. Not to excuse them, but to free yourself from seeing them only as a villain. If you cannot, find gratitude toward others. Each day, identify 3 people who showed kindness. Let appreciation warm your chest. Finally, see your betrayer as a natural force, a storm, a tide. They acted from weakness, fear, confusion. These are natural human failings. Would you be angry at the storm? Plot revenge against winter? Deal with practical consequences. Adjust your relationship. Protect yourself. But let go of anger, of revenge, of the desire to make them suffer. Each morning say, today I will encounter betrayal, ingratitude, malice. I am prepared. These cannot touch my character, which remains my own. I will regard them with calm indifference, having fortified myself against them. Now we come to the end. You came here asking how to win against someone who betrayed you. I have shown you something better. How to win against the part of yourself that wants to be controlled by their betrayal. Let me leave you with this truth, tested through my own trials, through years of observing the powerful destroy each other, through my final moments when I faced death ordered by the very student I had raised. The greatest revenge is to be unlike the one who performed the injury. When they are consumed by guilt, though they may never show it, you will be at peace. When they are enslaved to their weakness, unable to trust even themselves, you will walk in freedom. When they lie awake wondering if you plot against them, you will sleep soundly, having granted them no space in your thoughts. This is not because you are better than them in moral superiority that makes you prideful. It is because you have chosen a different path entirely. You have chosen self-mastery over external control. You have chosen inner victory over outer vengeance. You have chosen to build something they can never touch, an unshakable peace that does not depend on another person's actions. Remember this: anger is poison that kills the vessel that holds it. The betrayer may have poured it, but you decide whether to drink. Remember this: we are all soldiers in the campaign of life. This betrayal is your battle. How you respond reveals your virtue. Do not waste it on rage. Do not squander it on revenge. Use it to forge the steel of your character. Remember this: fortune is at war with all of us. Some days the attack comes through betrayal. Some days through loss. Some days through death itself. The wise person stands ready, unmoved by any of it. Not because nothing matters, but because only one thing matters: the state of your own soul, which remains your own until your final breath. I have given you the tools. Now the work belongs to you. Each day you practice these principles, you win a small victory. Each time you choose peace over reaction, you fortify your inner citadel. Each moment you refuse to grant significance to what is beneath your concern, you become more free. You do not need to defeat them. You only need to stop being defeated by the thought of them. This is the victory I offer you. It is the only one worth having. And it is the only one no betrayal can steal. Go now, build your fortress, tend your inner garden. Let them do what they will. It concerns you no more than the yapping of small dogs concerns the great beast who listens without worry. You are free. Act like it. If this teaching has resonated with you, if you feel even the smallest shift in how you see your situation, then I ask you to do 3 things. First, subscribe to this channel. I will continue to share these teachings, ancient wisdom tested through real trials, offered to you in plain language for the battles you face today. Second, press that button below if this helped you see things differently. It tells me this work matters, and it helps others who are suffering as you have suffered to find their way here. Third, and most importantly, leave me a comment. Tell me about your betrayal if you wish. Tell me where you struggle. Tell me what you are learning. I cannot respond to everyone, but I read them all, and your words teach me as much as I hope mine teach you. We are all students in this school of life. You came here wounded. Leave here armed. The battle ahead is yours alone, but you do not fight it without wisdom. Go well. Stand firm. Be free.